Hello, 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 people, people of Twitch, people of YouTube, people of TikTok. Honk, honk, Sky Kids. How are you guys doing? Talk to me, chat. Nana, hi, Nana, on TikTok, Tales of Schizophrenico. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. TikTok is always wild. How are you guys doing? TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. Fun to you too, the devil in sky. Welcome. We have several good things going on today, you guys. We have the social media announcements as we usually do. Follow us anywhere, everywhere, wherever your heart desires. But remember, Sky Discord is, or as people call it these days, Skycord. That I don't know. I'm an old crab. I'm a middle-aged crab. Do you guys know that crabs age differently? We age. I don't know. It feels like 20 years per second. So right now I am several hundreds of years of age. But I'm still a kid at heart. I appreciate that. Anyways, back to the topic. Follow us on Discord. That's where you get a lot of good news. That's where you get to hang out with other Sky Kids very similar to you. Oh, Nana, thank you. Thank you for asking, Nana. I am very good. I appreciate the caring. I really do. Thank you so much. In fact, let me put a no, I spoiled the surprise. No. Okay, here we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's okay. Now we're back at it. All right. You guys, you guys are confusing me today. I'm just overly excited. The person joining us today is awesome. It's awesome. And I cannot wait to introduce you guys to my guest. But before we do so, we are you guys hearing any music? Because I am not. Let me check what's going on with the music. There you go. Now I hear music too. This person is awesome. I cannot wait to introduce them. But as usual, is anybody celebrating their birthdays today or this week or one of these days or last week? The point is, I want to celebrate your birthday with you. Happy birthday, you guys. Remember, your life is precious. Your life means a lot to all of us. Don't let anybody convincing you otherwise, because uh, we need you. We all need your expertise. We all need your passion for things. We all need your creativity. So thank you for existing with us. In my case, for hundreds of crab years, but in you, for whatever, how old you are. Happy birthday. Remember, there is a crab who loves you in this world. Cool? No music on Twitch. Let me double check on that. Oh, here we go. Now there is music on Twitch, isn't there? Then why do you make us candle grind for hours? Because of love, because of exercise, because of opportunities of socializing and making friends. There's more to Sky than just getting cosmetic, guys. There's a lot about making meaningful connections, and many times these meaningful connections go as you venture through the realms, right? Oh, Thumber Boy, hello. Happy birthday. Awesome. All right, guys. Before I introduce you guys to you guys and guysettes. I'm sorry, you guys and guysettes. I'm trying to be mindful, okay? When I say guys, I mean on the neutral gender, okay? But I'm gonna try to be a little bit more mindful. Thank you for your feedbacks. Yeah, it's epic. But my friends, I really like to quit. That's unfortunate. I get the vibe. I have friends who have there is music on Twitch. Turn it off. No, not gonna turn it off. It's good music. It's epic music. But yeah, I have friends who also left, and it's part of life, right? Part of life is understanding that we don't usually keep everybody who we love. They comes and they goes, as they say, right? But it doesn't mean that there isn't more for you to love. You guys like guys and guysettes? Yeah, I'll try to do that. Again, I apologize if I don't. I try to be mindful, but Death Wolf, yes, indeed. There is something new in the game, and I'm gonna start showcasing right now. Rawr, mateys, there are new things in Sky. Joshua Penn, welcome. Josh, would you be my parrot? Would you climb on my shoulder so we can go digging for treasure in Sky? I would very much appreciate that. Maybe you can meet new friends, like through Sky Corridor while exploring the realms. Exactly, Chameleon. You hit the nail in the head. It's all about making those connections and finding them, right? Everybody has an opportunity to uh, add to your life. And, you know, sometimes people leave, but sometimes people come. And maybe those people who come are the best people you will find in your life. All right, chat. Before I introduce you to the maker, the mastermind behind Days of Treasure, I would like to crew you guys around. Let's all get together and do our best pirate hunt. Okay? On three, I want everybody to type in chat. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Okay, there's a little delay, so I'm just gonna wait about 10 seconds before I introduce you guys to somebody who's also. Oh, TikTok is getting that on time. Here we go. I don't think I was born to be a crab pirate, you guys. The R is being harsh a little bit on my on my throat. Boat girl. Yes, boat girl would be a great pirate. I mean, you already have a boat on your name, right? You guys are funny. YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. You guys are funny. All right. With no further ado, TikTok, please help me welcome the mastermind, the main captain behind Days of Treasure. So please, if you will, put your pirate flags, put your parrot emojis so we can welcome Casey. Casey Dockendorf, welcome, welcome, welcome to Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Looking very
doing,
piratey. I appreciate the eye patch.
I'm doing fantastic, man. Who can do fantastic if you don't have an eye patch, right? Where is your eye patch?
Where's my? I know. I feel like I should have an eye patch. I'm missing one.
Right, or a parrot, on the very least.
Yeah, one to the other.
You guys, Casey Dockendorf.
Yeah.
So as we go through this interview, you guys keep your questions coming in chat, and you know we do have a discussion to have here with Casey. But if he or I grab your question, we may ask that live. So please do not hesitate. This is about the newest event in Sky, Days of Treasure. So Casey, for people who might not be familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what was your role in Days of Treasure?
Yeah, I'm Casey, and I was the design lead on Days of Treasure. I've been working with the design team for about for the design events team for about a year now. We're working on a number of different events over the past year. Days of Treasure is actually the first event that I've been given the opportunity to lead from the start, and it has been a seafaring adventure, if you will, right? Being able to work on it
from got
scratch.
jokes, you guys.
Yeah,
Casey's got
yeah,
jokes.
gotta throw that in there. Gotta incorporate the piratiness to it.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
By the way, okay, I just told you, right? Like a lot of the questions that I'm gonna ask are just gonna be impromptu. But was pirateness something that you had thought ahead of time for Days of Treasure? Was that always the inspiration?
The pirateness was not the original pitch, right? One of the things that we had discussed really early on is we really wanted to try to make exploring in the world more interesting and rewarding. So that was kind of a discussion we had kind of had early on. It started out as this sort of like more traditional scavenger hunt where you had clues that you had to go through. You had different clues that you had to follow, and the clues would take you to different areas and things. We found that to be kind of cumbersome and a little slow, and you weren't really getting like the excitement of like the exploration and things. And then we're like, well, what if you're just looking for, or you're just like looking for like one thing in particular, right? We just want you to find one thing. Um, and that kind of led to some of these conversations about like just finding a thing. And it's like, oh, what if this was like a treasure hunt rather than just like a traditional scavenger hunt? And then the treasure hunt led to this idea of, well, if it's going to be a treasure hunt, then you have to have a treasure map. Well, who has treasure maps? Pirates have treasure maps. So then we started leaning into that, just that whole analogy of like the sort of treasure maps and treasure hunts and treasure chests and shovels and all these things. And sort of just kind of naturally flew from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Someone on TikTok, quite literally, their name is someone, are saying that you look really proud of what you guys have done, and that's awesome to see.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Thank you.
congrats, congrats.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
what excites you the most about Days of Treasure?
Mhm. I think one of the most exciting things that we were able to introduce into this event was the shovel. Being able to introduce this new sort of cosmetic tool, if you will, that has like some new functionality associated with it was really exciting. There's a lot of really cool props and things in the game, but we really wanted to bring on something that felt like something you could do at the event, but also outside of the event. For anyone who's played it, I know we're a couple days into the event being live, but anyone who's played it so far, like you can dig kind of anywhere where there's sand, right? And then when you dig up these little trinkets and things. And there's even like a little Easter egg associated with it. I don't know if anybody's found the little Easter egg associated with it yet. But
Ooh,
they
wait, wait,
definitely,
wait, wait,
yeah.
wait, wait, wait. Exclusive things here for the stream, you guys. There is an
Yeah.
Easter egg. Now I am very curious.
Yes.
Hopefully
Yes.
we
Just
can
keep digging.
maybe we can dig it out of Casey later
Yeah.
later in the stream. Later.
Yeah.
Uh, I have
Mhm.
another question here, and Casey, I'm gonna mix that up with a
Yeah. Yeah.
question from Chameleon Bread from
Mhm.
YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so how did the idea of Days of Treasure came to life, and what was there any specific moment of aha pirates,
Mhm.
right? Like that spark of inspiration for this whole adventure, and to add Chameleon's Bread question.
Mhm.
How was it decided to pick the two spirits that we have for either of the teams?
Yeah, so I mean, like when we were, like I was saying before, with the scavenger hunt theme, the idea of just like, oh, there's a lot of kind of mystery throughout the world of Sky, right? There's a lot of things that like the world doesn't tell you. There's a lot of things that sort of inferred, and you kind of just gather over time. So we really like this idea of like searching for clues, and then but by simplifying it by adding the treasure maps and kind of leaning into this like more treasury type hunt type thing, it was really fun to kind of create these maps of the world and just point to like, hey, it's over by this thing. And if you've been to this world before, you might know where this thing is. And if you don't know where this thing is, you might have to look for this thing. And we tried to keep all the, maybe this might be a little spoiler, we tried to keep all the treasures around like really familiar landmarks in the world.
Ooh.
Seldom going to be you're not just gonna be like wandering around aimlessly. You're probably going to be wandering towards something that looks familiar or large scale or something, and then you're going to kind of run around the area to find the treasure chest. If you've ever seen like a traditional treasure map, there's always that, the treasure is 10 paces away from a palm tree that's like on the other side of a rock kind of thing. And we really wanted to kind of have that feel for the maps and the searching functionalities, that it's like you were in the general vicinity. And then once you were there, you kind of knew that that was the area you're supposed to be in, and that's where you dig. And there's a lot of like free reign to kind of just dig, sort of wherever you want to find what you're looking for. But it was a lot of fun, kind of crafting that and all that. The narrative of the actually I really like the narrative of the assembly spirits and the abyss spirits, which we refer to in the event as the scouts, which is the assembly spirits, and the scavengers. We really liked this idea of having these two sort of adventurous type teams. Season Assembly, they're very collaborative. They have these big personalities. It's a really fun group that just does a lot of really cool stuff together. They have they've done Season of Assembly, and they have the treehouse and things like that they've done. And then there's the scavengers, which is the abyss spirits, which their entire narrative is following these maps to find these sort of
Right.
diamond-shaped tetrahedron, metal tetrahedrons that they sort of deem as these like treasures. It's like one of the coolest seasons in the game. It's one of my favorites. And I love the character designs, and I love the scavengers. I know a lot of people are really big fans of like the cannoneer and some of the other and like the boatswain and stuff are just really cool spirits there. So I love this idea of these two teams that are like kind of like very team focused, working together to find this treasure. And then you're the help. So you're sort of the catalyst that sort of helps one team or the other be more successful than the other that day, right? So we really wanted to kind of capture that spirit.
Oh, Bow Girl has a comment on Twitch. So you actually had a lot of fun creating the lore, right? Like it's not just, oh, let's have this event, but
Oh
you guys
yeah,
actually try
yeah.
to build something consistent together. Everything is intentional, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think like that's like one of the most important things in Sky is that everything has a really deep narrative reason behind it. Like nothing is like just like, oh, it'd be really cool if we did this. It's always like, if we're gonna do this, does it make sense in this world? And if we are gonna do this, like, when we talked about the treasure chests, it had to be a treasure chest that felt like it fit in the Sky world. And the treasure inside the treasure chest, like it wouldn't make sense to have like necklaces and chalices and gold doubloons. Like that didn't make sense because that infers like this sort of like Spanish treasure that like pirates off the shores. It just didn't really make sense. So we didn't want to just interject this kind of piratey theme. We wanted to be like, oh, what if this was a treasure that was already in the world, that already existed, and then the mystery is why were these who put these treasure chests here? Why did they put these here? How long have they been here? Where did these maps even come from? Right? Like those are the kind of mysteries that we wanted to align, and then we really wanted to make it just feel like it just felt like it was part of this world already. We didn't want to introduce something that was like, oh, people like pirates, so we'll just put pirates in there. We really wanted to feel like, oh, this feels like something that's already in the world that you're just tapping into for the first time, right?
That's awesome. What
Yeah.
is the very heart of Days of Treasure, you'd say? Like, as you said, everything is really intentional, right? So, what was at its core? What was the one moving part that you guys said, this is it, let's push?
Yeah, I think it's the wonder was a term that was being thrown around a lot while we were working on this event. And this idea that there's all these things in the world to see, right? There's all these places in the world to see. And on previous events that we've worked on, we've done a couple multi-location events before in the past. And one of the positive feedback we get from that is people are really excited to go back to these areas they haven't been to since these seasons or for like a particular event or something else. And we really wanted to kind of bring that back. It's like, oh, you like this area, let's hide some treasure in this area. So you're not just in this area again for the first time in a while. You're in this area and you're kind of exploring it again for what could feel like the first time in a long time, or for some players might be the first time they've really like explored the area beyond the existing narrative. I think Treasure Reef in Seasons of Abyss has this really, there's all these really interesting landmarks. There's all these like beautiful like structures and things in the area, and there's so much of that throughout the game. And you just want to see it. You just want to like go around and see it and explore. And we kind of wanted to kind of sort of make it so that players kind of had to look around a little bit and find these things, right? So that was kind of an important moment. So like having that sort of sense of wonder of being in this area and being like, oh, either I remember this place or I don't remember this place, and I want to see this. I want to explore this place a little bit more. Awesome. With that being said, we had to be really particular about which areas we chose and didn't chose, because there's some areas that are like they're a little more cramped, they're a little more cluttered. There's some areas that are just kind of too big and too open to like really have that kind of sense to kind of capture that. So it was definitely a balancing act when we were designing that.
That's awesome. And speaking of the treasure hunt element, right? Treasure hunting is something that is so familiar to people. It's a classic game, right? Like people have experienced that forever in different manners, right? Were there any specific books, movies, other games, anything that influenced the design of this event?
Yeah, so many. I think I mentioned before that when we originally pitched this, we pitched this as a bit more of a scavenger hunt type thing with clues. And I think there's a movie, National Treasure, with Nicolas Cage. It's kind of something that's kind of looking at a little bit, because this idea of like in National Treasure, like you have this
Classic.
Yeah, you have a book. The book has these different clues. You look for these clues, and like, oh, it's buried in the bottom of this museum in this location. And then we kind of wanted to, like kind of capture that feel, right? We wanted to capture that sense of this like this searching, right? But like, so National Treasure was kind of one of the original pitches for it. Then we pushed it more towards things like Treasure Island, where you're like, you're kind of with these groups and you're going to these groups to find these treasures. And like even Peter Pan, which kind of has this like really cool dynamic between like the Lost Boys and the pirates. And we kind of have that dynamic a little bit between the Assembly and the Abyss Spirits. And there's also this kind of like land and sea dynamic too, because like the scavengers from the Season of Abyss, they're mostly exploring the water. They're on their boats and things like that. Or the Season of Assembly is they're mostly in their they're mostly in like the land, like they're in the forest and things like that too. So you have this kind of land and sea dichotomy, which we push a little bit into some of the iconography throughout the events as well, making it very clear like you have these kind of land and seafaring characters, and they're both kind of exploring, and the different worlds are you know, some's near water, some is on the land, and some is in, you know, landlocked and things. So
That's awesome.
a lot of variety, right?
Random question.
Mhm.
How much discussion on, you know, like concept and lore and ideas and inspirations do you guys have before coding anything? Like before putting anything into action?
Well, there's a lot of that, right? I think that you know, the early, you know, when we pitch these events really early on, it's very discussionary, right? It's very much so like, hey, like, you know, what if we did this? And then we look at that and go, oh, that's a really interesting concept, but like, but what if we did, you know, what if we pushed this particular thing or had this particular um you know, this particular moment or this particular experience, right? And they're like, okay, well then, you know, for example, like the shovel was like a defining factor in the game. It's like, okay, well, we want the shovel functionality to be a really important component of this. Okay, so now we need to work on the shovel. And then it becomes this conversation about, well, what does it take to actually build a shovel in the game, and what do we want the players to experience when they're using this shovel? So there's a lot of, you know, just this one little component, which is just a shovel, is really important to have that discussion. And then it's like, okay, well, what do we want the players to experience when when players get the treasure chest? What do we want that experience to be? And then there's all this concept art, there's all these visuals, and there's all these things that get sort of pushed and just kind of shown to the team and thing. And then that sort of inspires further discussion, like, oh, this is a really cool concept, like, oh, I really like this cape, or I really like that eye patch, like what if we lean more into that and lean that more into the narrative and into these different dynamics and things. So it feels really it's sort of this like gradual process over time, and that's all sort of before anything gets scripted or coded or any of that stuff. Once we're in there, then it's all about like gameplay feel. We do a lot of play testing and things like that to see like, hey, are people enjoying this? Are they having fun? Are they doing you know, are they doing the things that we expect them to do? And are there things that they expect to happen while they're doing it, or are there things that happening that are unexpected and they don't actually enjoy those aspects of those things? So there's a lot of it's a very, very iterative process throughout the entire development process.
That's awesome. Will of the Wisps has a question that I think I
Mhm.
can address, or maybe you guys, maybe that's the actual
Mhm.
Easter egg, right?
Mhm.
But they say, are the event currency or event tickets actual gold coins, or are they coins that you can peel the fake gold off and you would eat it as a chocolate? And I would say
Mhm.
it's 100% chocolate, you guys. Unless
100%,
Casey
100%
says
chocolate.
otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. These are yeah, these are Sky brand chocolate gold doubloons with pirate crabs. I think I
Casey,
can agree with that.
rivalry, it's something
Hmm.
that is really challenging to a lot of Sky kids, right?
Hmm.
They still see Sky, rightfully so,
Yeah.
as a place of making connections, meaningful connections in many situations. But when we add rivalry, some people raise a flag and say, "Oops, what's going on?" Right? But
Hmm.
what is the place of friendly competition in Sky?
Yeah, you know, I think that you know, there's a lot of big personalities on the spirits in Sky, and both the assembly and the assembly spirits and the spirits have these big personalities across, and they're very different from one another, right? And the whole concept of this rivalry, we wanted to be one, a friendly rivalry, and we wanted to kind of seem like this. Okay, the assembly spirits are like, oh, there's treasure, let's go find the treasure, and the scavengers are like, let's go find the treasure. We're good at finding treasure, right? We wanted this rivalry to be a little bit more just like playful, like a playful rivalry, not like a, you know, we're all going to win and we're all getting all this treasure and then we're all going to be successful and we're going to try to hamper each other. And the idea is that, you know, for the player, you know, we really wanted the player to have this experience that is like you're the defining catalyst for each one of these teams. So you come out there and you get to help them find this treasure, because it's like both teams have the same number of people on their side. So when you help a team member, essentially you're giving them an extra person to help find treasure. So we really like this idea of having this like, oh, we have another teammate on our side to help us today. And we really wanted players to kind of we didn't want to have players to pick between one team or the other. We really wanted them to pick like the spirit they wanted to help that day, right? If you want to
That's
help,
awesome.
you know, the cannoneer, that's who you get to help. If you wanted to help the marching guide, like that's who you get to help, right? We didn't want players to feel like they had to pick one team or the other and be stuck with that team for the rest of the event. They wanted to really be like more spirit focused. There's a lot
Oh,
of great spirits in the game, a lot of great characters, and we just really wanted people to be able to kind of pick and choose who they wanted to play with. With that being said, the rivalry, everyone sort of wins in the end, right? Everybody sort of wins in the rivalry in the end. Is that because, you know, since you're all finding the treasure together, you know, we kind of jokingly leaned into this thing. It's like the real treasure is the friends you made along the way, kind of thing, right? So because there's no like real losers, there's no like real winners and losers. The assembly spirits and scout spirits one will win and one will lose, but we really wanted the players to kind of feel like building these relationship things, what you're doing along the way.
That's awesome. I'm getting a lot of comments here, Casey. Wolverine on TikTok, bring more cool events like this, please. Hearts, they really enjoy the event.
I'm happy to.
Crow on TikTok also. This event is so simplistic and well executed. Thank you so much. So
thank you. That is a huge compliment. That is a huge compliment. Finding that balance between making something like fairly straightforward but also still entertaining is a difficult balance. And you know, and I know that, like, you know, the expressions, like some people really like it, and there might be some things about people might not like it as much, but I think that you know, that's the thing about Skies. There's sort of something in the game for everyone. And I even think, like, with certain challenges and things, that was a balancing act that we really wanted to have too, is that some of the treasures on certain days are relatively easier to find than other days, and other days are a little more challenging to find. They're all findable. We didn't hide anything behind anything that was like so hard. Like, we didn't do any of that. So that we put stuff's either sort of, and some of the areas that you get to visit sort of lend themselves to being more accessible, right?
Yeah. Taco Sanmashu, you guys did it really well. The first day, I wanted to help the scouts because I love the scolding spirit, but the second day I helped the abyss team because I love the cannoneer. So everybody gets to put a hand, to lend a hand and help find that. I guess that's the real treasure, right? So it's the cosmetics we make on the way, I suppose.
Yeah. Love that. I love that.
Yeah, got it. Casey, what was the most fun, or maybe an unexpected challenge that occurred when you guys were bringing this event together?
I think from a technical standpoint, you know, the shovel was a bit of a technical challenge. It's actually interesting. The shovel is something we worked on probably throughout the entire duration of the event, right? Because the shovel feeling good. I actually saw a couple comments in here about people saying the shovel's really satisfying, and I cannot wait to report that back to the engineer that worked on that shovel. I'm going to tell him directly that is what you said, because that was so important. The shovel was fun to use. It was fun to use. It operated the way the players hoped that it would operate. And there are a lot of like little components to it and things that made it a little challenging to like really work in the space. And you know, there's all these different terrains and things we had to kind of identify. So it definitely was a technical challenge throughout the process. But we really thought it would be super important to have the shovel just feel really good, because you're going to be using this thing the entire event. Like, sure, the spirits change, the locations of the treasures change, the levels change every day, but the shovel remains the same. So it was like one of the most important aspects of this event, and we really wanted that to feel fun and good. So adding like these like additional components to it, making the shovel animations really cute and really fun, and having these like little things that the shovel did outside of just digging for buried treasure was important too. And a lot of those suggestions, you know, weren't necessarily things that came directly out of the design team. The animation team did a really good job of coming up with these like really cool, really interesting and unique and variety of like shovel animations. And some of the Easter egg type stuff that happened was literally came out of a playtest where someone said, "Oh, it'd be really funny if this thing happened." And everyone was like, "Oh, we should do that. We should do that thing," because everyone agreed that it was a fun thing. So I think it's a really collaborative effort. And awesome. It's really that, you know, having all those different voices in the room just really lends to the project being more successful over time.
Is it too much of a push and too bad of a pun if I say that I dig that shovel really a lot?
No, I love that. That is my favorite joke that everybody has been saying. It's just people are like, "Oh, I really dig the shovel."
And here I thought I was being creative. And here I thought
I love it. We've had that joke a few times, but it's I really dig the shovel. I want that like on a shirt. Sky kids dig the shovel or something like that, right?
That's awesome. Casey, I am showing here a lot of the concept art that was made for this event, right?
Yeah.
Was there anything that was changed drastically from concept to the actual event?
No, you know what's so funny is like with the concepts, especially like some of the early concepts, like this crab with the eye patch, like this resonated so quickly with the team. People just immediately upon seeing this, people loved it. And then it came this conversation like, okay, where we're gonna put the crab flag, and the answer was like anywhere that we can, right? Because it's just such a great visual. You know, we talked about different things. We really talked about doing this like sort of X marks the spot on the ground type of thing, but it didn't feel like it fit in the world. So we kind of moved away from that, and the crab flag and the the items in the ground kind of made it a little more feel like it was more ingrained in the world. I'm actually, there's always the cutting room floor stuff, like the scroll here, right? Like I feel like that's something that sticking out of sand would have been a really cool kind of fun thing to be able to show, but trying to figure out like how to fit, like you can't always force this stuff into the gameplay. You really just kind of have to let it be, like let it all naturally kind of fall away if it's not serving the design. With the when we were doing the cosmetics designs, one of the things we talked about was like we wanted that sort of outfit, like we call it the linen shirt, the cavalier boots, and the breeches. Like we really wanted that to feel like it would work with some of the other items that the abyss spirits and the assembly spirits already had. Like we wanted those things to feel like it would fit with those. So you showed the concept before, but there are a few concepts where you can see the cape, the scavenger cape and the abyss cape sort of draped over that uniform, just saying like, hey, do these things feel like they fit together? Also too, like, we kind of wanted to have this like kind of sort of swashbuckling kind of feel to the outfit. So that felt like you can do a lot of different things, with it, with the different outfits and things like that too. So we wanted to kind of have like some variety. You can change your cape, you can change your hat, you can change your mask, you can even change your boots with it, right? So then you have like a lot of variety to what the outfit ends up looking at. So you can kind of make your own pirate kind of thing, kind of make your own pirate outfit as you go and look for treasure and things. So
a lot of people are really in love about the pirate flag that we just saw, and people want to put that on their nests.
No one has
wink,
seen that and not liked it.
wink, wink. Maybe that maybe it's something for. I don't know you guys. I promise I don't. If we're gonna have Days of Treasure next year, but if we do, maybe we can have a pirate flag. That's me helping you, community. So please,
there you go.
Show me some love. Give me a like, okay?
Keep the pirate flag around, right?
What about Days of Treasure do you hope players will feel from? Like when we were building, and now that it's out, it's live in the wilds. What do you want players to get from it? Or how do you want them to feel about it?
I personally, one of the things I like about Sky and other games that I play too is I really like exploring the worlds, right? I really like exploring the worlds, and I think that that sense of wonder, that keyword that we were kind of going back to multiple times as we were developing this event. We really want people to feel like there's a lot of things to see. There's a lot of things in this world to see, and players come back. Players come back all the time, and they get these quests, and they get to go to these different locations, and they get these new spirits that take them to the locations and things. And I feel like the game deserves multiple playthroughs. It deserves multiple chances to kind of come back and see these areas and come back to these areas. So like the opportunity that we have to put new functions, new features, new events in these areas really just motivates the players to kind of come back and continue to see these things. We want players to explore. We want people to want to see what's in Sky. We want players to want to see what's next. One of the things that we really leaned into with Days of Treasure is we wanted people to kind of not know what to expect next, which is something that I think the game does really well. Is that any new event or any new whatever, it sort of feels like a little different than the last one, and you kind of don't know what spirit you're going to meet next. And since we have this big roster of spirits to pull from, it was sort of just like, well, who's going to be there on Tuesday? Who's going to be there on Thursday? Who's going to be there on Saturday, kind of thing. And then and what area I'm going to end up next, and then what, where is the treasure going to be? And I think those are the types of things that we want people to wonder. We want people to wonder what's coming, and we want people to explore, and we want people to keep on being excited about coming back the next day and doing this again.
So Days of Treasure has been live, and just real quick before I proceed, Stormy making a request for more male-like outfits, so their male friends can participate. Go ahead, Casey.
No, there are some great outfits in the game. I think there's a great outfits game across both stylings and things like that, and especially like with hair and stuff, a lot of variety, right? I think that it's funny because I think I don't want to speak for the art team here, but it really is about like striking a right balance of like the cosmetics that feel like they fit in the world, and the cosmetics that really resonate with players and things. It's like finding a balance, and I commend all of the art team and the concept team and everyone who works in that department and does those things, because it really is about finding like what is the best, you know, item for these for these players and this game, because it's just it's you know, you want people to be excited about what's coming, these different
Yeah.
items, you know.
And speaking of cosmetics, you guys, if you look into our live stream playlist on YouTube, we had a live stream with Chie Wang, and they made a cosmetic live. We gave you guys the option to pick between a taco, boba tea, and a corgi, and you guys picked the theme. And Chie was just creating cosmetics live, so go check it out if you so wish. But Casey, Days of Treasure have been live, or has been live rather,
Mhm.
for the last few days,
About
right?
2 days, yeah.
Uh, so, what is your favorite
Mhm.
moments or interaction from the community so far?
Mhm.
What has made you smile so far?
I have seen some really cool stuff. I mean, like I think one of the things that I love, and I think everyone at TGC loves too, is just seeing the things that players make about the game, right? Like I saw that on, I think it was on X, and I saw this really cool animation that people were doing, like digging animations and things like that, where like literally someone had like hand drawn like Sky Kids digging with a shovel in like different locations and things like that. And it's such a cool, like this little thing. And there's a lot of like just like forward movement of like people thinking about like, oh, what could we do in the with the shovel in the future. So seeing those types of things, you know, I've seen people do, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people in the community have seen, you know, the really cool like musical performances that Sky Kids do and things like that. So like people doing things with the shovel that you don't necessarily think the shovel is for, or even telling like their own narratives with the shovel, telling their own narratives with their outfits and things like that. It's like something that I really enjoy seeing. So we've been seeing a lot of that. I watched this really fun video, and I kind of wish that I remember the person's name that posted it. I watched this really fun video where someone was just sort of taking the shovel and just doing random things with it. Like they were like sitting in the water and they were like shoveling, like paddling with it and things like that. Just like really cute things that felt like just felt like it was just part of this like experience, right? And it just didn't feel like outside of what we had designed. It felt like, it's like, yeah, that makes sense that you would do that with the shovel, or it makes sense that you would have the shovel with you when you were doing those things. And just the idea of like people creating their own outfits and adding the shovel to it to kind of get the sense of the feeling. So I love that sense of like creative community that players are able to build when they're doing these types of things. And I honestly, I watch the videos. I watch the people who, you know, do the different play tests and things like that, and I love watching all that stuff. I love seeing what
Have you had
players
the
find.
chance of looking at any of the fan arts that people have been putting out for Days of Treasure?
I've seen a little bit. I've seen a little bit of it, not a ton of stuff. And I sometimes I think it's one of those things where it can be kind of all over the place. Like everybody has their artwork at different places and things. But I'm blown away by some of the fan art that I've seen just for the game in general. But I love seeing fan art around new events, especially when I see fan art for new events that haven't quite come out yet. It's always really exciting to see like that kind of hype leading up to it.
Exactly. And that's what I was gonna
I
say,
really
right?
love that.
Like
Yeah.
right off beta, when Days of Treasure hit beta, I started seeing fan art stuff coming out, and it must feel, as a creative, which you are, right? It's digital, it's video game creative. It
Mhm.
must feel incredible to see people using things that you've made and
Mhm.
just transforming it into their own art style or into their own interests, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's something that is, you know, I think that like that being able to like sort of role play with your characters in the game is something that I think is like so important. You know, people are creating these attachments to these props and these items and these characters and all these things. I love that. I love that. I love seeing that. And I just love seeing everything that comes out of the community. And the amount of effort that people put in this thing. Somebody called out Nasty Mold in the chat, and I just want to say, like, I love Nasty Mold's videos. Like, Nasty Mold's videos are my favorite. I love watching them. It's just great stuff that's in there, and it's just like a lot of really cool work that everybody does on their own, right, on their own time, on their own dime, kind of thing. And they make these different, you know, different videos that they make and things just because they love it. They love the game and they love the experience. And I just think that's so it's a great experience to see people really enjoying the game so much they want to make their own stuff with it, right?
Chat, time to ask your questions. If you guys have
Mhm.
any Days of Treasure questions to Casey, use the time, you guys. This is a really good opportunity. So go
Yeah,
ahead and ask.
yeah, I don't know.
While they
Scrolling a
pile
little
up
bit.
their questions in chat, Casey, I'll toss you one more question. Uh,
Mhm.
if Days of Treasure was a legendary tale told to the future, right?
Mhm.
How would you want Sky Kids to remember this event as?
You know, I think that it's for me, it's sort of like this epic poem a little bit, right? Where you have there's all these questions in the world that will like never be answered, right? But you kind of want to. I think the story of Days of Treasure is like these two courageous bands of explorers who are hopelessly traveling the realm in search of these different treasures, and it is only with the aid of the Sky Children are they able to uncover these like mysterious secrets that would otherwise be lost in time, right? And I just think that that is just something that we just really kind of wanted to capture, is that like you are in as a player, you are in a way, you're making Sky history, right? You're sort of making Sky history in this moment and in this experience and things like that. So we really kind of want to have that kind of experience a little bit, where people are kind of making their own like sort of like narrative and their own journey.
Here you go. Question from Twitch, Frostbitten 101. Could we
Mhm.
expect to potentially see some more events featuring competitions like scavengers versus scouts in the future?
I don't know if we'll specifically do, things with those events. I mean, something, Tournament of Triumph was a previous event that had competition aspects to it as well. I mean, it's something that we do talk about, finding that right balance of like what competition in the game means and what that means to the players and what that means even to the spirits and the narrative is really important. But it's just definitely something that we talk about a lot. I really wanted to kind of create this kind of playful interaction. I think it gives people an opportunity to kind of build relationships with these spirits a little bit more than they already do.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Maelstrom has a fantastic question on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any plans for player-generated treasure hunts with our own clues?
That is something that I think would be really cool. I think that'd be a really cool thing. I think that's a little bit more it's a little bit more complicated than what we proposed and what we did, but I do think that like that would be something that'd be really fun to do. And it's something I've heard people suggest things like that before, and it's definitely a little bit more complex. But hey, we'll keep that in the list of ideas, and it's something we can do in the future. I think it'd be great. I'd love to see this. I'd love to see this event come back and us do more with it if we can. A
Me
lot of
too.
events
And
come back.
people are
And
having a blast, right? So like
Mhm.
community wise, I think that's a check mark. And you can see,
Mhm.
you're only looking
Mhm.
at YouTube chat, but you can see from
Yeah.
other chats
Yeah.
that people, the moment that I opened the floor for questions
Yeah.
from the chat,
Mhm.
the first two things on Twitch and TikTok were, "Are you gonna bring this back next year?"
Right.
So people are loving it.
I
People are
would I
loving
would
it.
encourage people to join the Discord and leave their suggestions there. Just know that the TGC community, they look at the Discord all the time. A lot of the stuff comes out of there and is shared with the team and stuff. And if you have an idea, like feel free to throw it in there. If you're like, hey, I like Days of Treasure, it would be really cool if we added, peg legs. I don't know, just add that in there. And we look at that kind of stuff. We look at that stuff and we use that as sort of fuel for when we're designing these features and be like, hey, players really liked this thing or they really liked that thing. And we look at past events and go, hey, players really like this cape or they really like that, that prop. And it's like, how can we build more experiences of the game like those things? So we want that feedback. We want to hear people's thoughts and those feelings. So if you're not, shameless plug, if you're not already joined the Discord, the Skycord, like jump in there, jump in and do it and post your ideas. I'll look at them. I'm happy to look at it.
You see, guys? Oh,
Yeah.
and guys, that's
Mm-hmm.
it's not only
Yeah.
Tatis and I telling you to go to Skycord. Casey
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
that devs get inspired by the feedback that you guys shared. So keep sharing. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you, Casey.
Yeah.
Uh,
Definitely.
Sterling Ivy, what is your favorite part about working with Sky?
Man, this game is unlike anything I think I've worked on in my career. It's really it's so thoughtful. Like the game, like the whole game is just so thoughtful. There's just so much thought that's put into everything. Everything that is done, like so much love and care with the spirits themselves, with the different narratives. I haven't worked directly with the seasons team, but just seeing like what comes out of the seasons and the work that people do there is just absolutely incredible. Like how thoughtful and creative and how deep people think about some of these things. It's just one of my favorite things about working with this group is just how creative everyone is, and it's a very creative group of people in general. I've worked with in my career, in the past, I've worked with people who are like very technical minded. I've worked with people who are very business minded. This is a very creative minded group just in general. Some of the most talented and creative engineers I've worked with, and it's really exciting being a part of the team. Also, as someone who is just a huge fan of games like Journey and these
Of
types of
course.
games. It's really exciting to be able to work on something so close to this company's work. I love Journey is like one of my favorite games, and for me, Sky in a lot of ways feels like a really big sort of love letter to Journey in a lot of ways. And
I'm glad to hear, man. Journey is
yeah,
fantastic, and so is Flower, right? So for people who have
yeah,
played our
yeah,
legacy games,
yeah, yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
And if you
Funny.
haven't, go play it, because
Yeah,
Journey,
seriously.
like Flower is personally my favorite, but I have to say that Journey is a mark in video game history. It's
Yeah,
a
it really is.
fantastic game.
Yeah, yeah. It is
Uh,
an experience. If you have not had it, if you like Sky and you've never played Journey, I highly recommend playing Journey.
Indeed. Flashman 311, does the winning team get an item that the losing team will not? Should you stay with the winning team?
I feel like there's a little bit of a spoiler, but we really do,
No, let's
in
not
the
spoil
end,
it. Let's not spoil it.
everyone wins, right? Everybody kind of wins.
Let's just say there are no losers. Just have
Yeah,
fun.
there are no losers. There's only winners in Sky.
Just go have fun. Go find the treasure, because honestly, on the first day, I couldn't find my treasure until I was begging my friends, hey, experienced Sky Kid, would you take this poor crab to the treasure? And fair enough, they did. They did.
Yeah.
All right, chat. Any more questions to Casey? If not, we will soon start wrapping this up. So keep them coming. The stream will go as long as you ask your questions. Casey, I'm going to start wrapping up on my side, right? But are there any words of encouragement or final thoughts that you want to share with players as they go out adventuring through the realms to find that treasure?
Yeah, actually, I'd love to. Actually, there's a one of the things that I tell people all the time at this event is just take your time. Don't rush through it. Don't try to speed through it. Like, really take the time to like really explore and try to find this. Like, I think that having a little bit of patience, a little bit of perseverance, I guarantee you will find every treasure on every day if you just take maybe a little bit of extra time and just really push to find it. Right. It's really about like this sort of like curiosity that you have about the world. You're like, what if I look in this corner? What if I look around this rock? What if I look under this tree, kind of thing? And it'll help you find the treasure. And I think like that sort of perseverance is a quote I read like while I was kind of looking at this, and it says a smooth sea never made a skilled pirate. And I hope that inspires people as players, especially, to like kind of take the challenge of finding the treasure to heart. Also, it's really satisfying. Finding the treasure is really satisfying, right? So I think that's an important thing too.
A few more questions from the chat, Casey. Today, what would be your choice between the two spirits?
Oh, you know what? I am a huge fan of both the assembly and scavenger spirits, and I think that I like certain spirits on each team a lot. I do really like Season of This as a season I really like. I really like the Treasure Reef area and the underwater and all the things. So I do feel like I lean a little bit more towards the scavengers. Even my shirt kind of feels like a little bit like the scavenger cape a little bit that you can wear. So I do kind of lean a little bit more towards the scavengers in that design. But just some beautiful designs on the assembly on the spirits, and I really like their personalities. But if I had to like lean, I think I'm like kind of like leaning a little bit towards the scavenger spirits, personally.
Awesome. Casey, I have to say that when you mentioned the Easter egg, you grind some people's gears here. They're asking, are there any hints to help us crack the case of the Easter egg?
I don't know. I think that if you're just dig. Just keep digging and see what pops out. See what pops out when you're digging. What pops out of the ground when you're digging, right? So you might find some junk, but you might find some other cute things as well. So
you're having people dig now for hours on a row, right?
Hey, yeah, you definitely want people to kind of get there.
Awesome, you guys. Let's see. Are there any secret treasures buried in Eden? That's an interesting question.
No, we do not. We do not. I can flat out say there are not treasures in Eden. No, because there are no treasures. Yeah.
the one treasure in Eden is at the very ending, guys. Just get past the point of no return. That's the treasure that you buried from Eden. I'm terrified still to this day. Been playing this game for years, still terrifies me. Oh yes, the ice cream. Casey, one of the most important questions that we have to every guest that comes to our stream. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Your favorite, ultimate, the only correct flavor choice of ice cream?
Oh man, that's a wild question. You know, I feel like traditionally speaking, I love chocolate mint ice cream. I absolutely love it. Second only to that is like cookies and cream, but like Oreo cookie chunks in or something like that, right? But I do love chocolate mint ice cream, and there's just something magical about it that I absolutely love.
I'm with you. I'm with you, especially on the cookies and creams. Though I have a sweet tooth, and
Mhm.
cookies and creams makes my life go round as a crab. All right,
Mhm.
guys. Final looks into the concept art. Casey, say your
Yeah.
goodbyes. Go ahead. In the meanwhile, say your goodbyes. Share any messages of wholesomeness and kindness to our chat today.
Yeah, no, I love. I'm looking at the chat here, and I'm seeing a lot of references like "diggy diggy hole," and I think I would be thrilled to see somebody who made a video of digging to that song. It would be absolutely fantastic because it's such a
Just
funny
keep
song.
digging. Just keep digging.
Yeah,
Just keep
exactly, right.
digging,
Your
digging,
diggy hole.
digging.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to kind of see that. I know that we're crossing the streams there with different things, but I just love that. I love that. I love the excitement around that. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of things. I love that everybody's enjoying the concept art too. There's just so many amazing pieces of art. Also seeing like the evolution of some of this stuff too, like where it kind of started and where it kind of landed, things like that. You know, we had some different iterations of what the maps looked like and how they were going to work and things. So just really excited to see, you know, like what's landing there and what people are seeing. It's really cool. But yeah, no, I really appreciate all the commentary in the chat. Seeing a lot of love for the event, and that's making me like just really happy. I'm really happy to hear that. We having a brand new event with new features, new functionalities is so important. To kind of to bring to the players from time to time, and I just love hearing that so many people are enjoying it. They're enjoying the cosmetics, they're enjoying the features and the functions and things, and that's great. It's a great thing, and I love that. I love seeing that. So thank you
That's awesome,
everyone who
Casey.
plays the game. Thank you everyone who's enjoying the game. Like I said, go on the Discord, share your thoughts. Put your ideas and stuff out there. Like I guarantee you, like people at TGC read those comments, read those Discords, see what you all have to say, and take what you're saying to heart. So I definitely, please, by all means, continue to your thoughts and your
Feedback
feelings.
channel in
It's all
Discord
appreciated.
is the place to be, you guys. Casey, thank you so much for spending the time here with us. We had about a little over 150 people across all
Awesome.
our channels, and many more to come for people watching our VOD. So hey, if you're watching our VOD, you are loved. Thank you for being here with us. And Casey, you are loved too. Hey chat, can you guys show your love to Casey? Can everybody just spam like a waterfall of hearts in the chat? Just so he feels welcomed and well received within this community.
I'll take your pirate flags and all that too. Like, it's much appreciated.
Oh, hey, or send the pirate flags then. Pirate flags and parrots.
Yeah, hearts,
because
pirate
what
flag.
is a pirate without a parrot?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, Casey.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for making this fun event. It's new. It's fresh. It's a breath of fresh air to Sky. And as we were talking before the stream, right? As a no-time player, I very much enjoy it. And you know what? Right after this stream, I'm probably just gonna start digging because I gotta find the Easter egg, man. I gotta find it.
That's awesome.
All right, chat. Thank you so much. Awesome. And Casey, I'll talk to you shortly on Zoom, okay?
All right, perfect. Thank you again. Thanks all.
Sky Kids, what a lovely chat. You know what? Let me remove my eye patch. What a lovely chat, and thank you guys or what a lovely stream rather. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for sharing your questions. I saw some people talking about bugs that they're going through. You guys can go to our Discord bug channel. It's the best place to be very honest for that. But if you don't want to, feel free to send me a little DM somewhere at Theo the Crab on X, or we can just talk on Discord as well. Other than that, it's time to say our goodbye. So Whiskers says hello, but we're about to leave, but thank you for coming. Ivan, thank you so much for sharing the stream. Marty on TikTok, Ocean on TikTok. Let's see, Sylphan Ford on TikTok. Thank you for being here with us. Alejandro on Twitch. Pom Sky Kid. Tethys, as always, big love to Tethys. Thank you so much for everything you do for me. Band-Aid Belly Button. What a lovely name. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna call my firstborn exactly that. Corey Dockendorf. Thank you, Corey. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Anna the Hedgehog and everybody who has been hanging out with us, know that you are loved and that we appreciate you deeply. Other than that, we will see you next week for another TGC stream, and I'll see you guys soon. Talk to you later. Bye.